look at the crew we've put together for you, as we've got tons of football to get to this morning, including Diana Rossini, Dominique Foxworth, the big fella, Damian Woody, and the not as big fella, Adam Schefter, all ready to go. But it begins with the night in the NBA, and here we go. Jazz Clippers last night. Utah, a 2-1 series lead coming in, but the Clippers at home, coming out hot right out of the gates. It's Paul George early, knocking down the three. And then his running mate, Kawhi Leonard, looking to get involved. PG gets it to him. 30 points in the first quarter for the Clippers. They're off to a blistering start. Second quarter, Clippers by 23. Paul George in the lane, throws it down with two hands. But if you think that's something, take a look at this. Kawhi Leonard, here he comes down the lane. Oh! Throwing it down on Derek Favors. Oh, that's a poster. Vince Carter will offer his thoughts in just a moment. Kawhi with the big slam. Clippers by 24 at the half. Fourth quarter, here's a bad moment. You see Kawhi bumped by Joe Ingles in transition. Got a little bit of right knee pain. He would leave the game but remain on the bench. He would say afterward, quote, "I'll be good." That obviously is a huge factor going forward, but the Clippers were good last night. Good enough for a 118-104 win. That series now tied at 2 games apiece. Meanwhile, the game of the night was in Atlanta. Game 4, Hawks, Sixers. Philly up 2-1, coming in. 4.5 to go in the second quarter. Joel Embiid still working with that meniscus in the right knee. He was good in the first half. His team was better. That one gets to go. 62-49 Philly at the break. But the Hawks not giving up. Huge third quarter. Down by 7, but not for long. Bogdanovich, no. John Collins, yes. 14 points, 12 rebounds. Got both there. It's a 5-point game. Start of the fourth. Hawks within 2 now. Kevin Huerter working on the perimeter. Bogdanovich, he had 22 points. Hawks take the lead. 5 minutes to go in the game. Tied at 92. Good game. Trae Young throwing it up. Clint Capella throwing it down. 18 assists for Trae Young. Hawks up 2. Buck and a half to go. Sixers up by 1. Joel Embiid just had no lift in the second half and no points. Over 12 in the second half for Embiid. Ensuing Hawks possession. It's Young. Little floater in the lane. Just 8 of 26 on the night. But that one goes. He scored 25. Hawks by 1. 14 seconds left. Sixers down 1. Where are they going to go? Joel Embiid. Oh, he usually dunks that. But this time he goes to the hole. Can't get it to go. Ball's out of bounds. It's off Ben Simmons. Doc Rivers can't believe it's going to get away. Last chance for the Sixers. 4 seconds left. Down by 3. Where are you going to go? Seth Curry. That's not a terrible look, and it comes close, but it's no good. And the Hawks win it. 103-100. Series tied at 2 games apiece. Joel, let's talk.
I just didn't have the lift. Thought I got fouled too. But usually I would go up and, especially for a bucket like that, trying to dunk it. But I just seemed to not be able to, jump for obvious reasons and stuff. But, you gotta, think about game 5.
So it was basically the knee?
Yeah, just trying to do the best I can.
Well, so that's obviously a big story here. Series now tied 2 games apiece. Game 5 tomorrow in Philly. And despite the injury concerns, you see it there. The Sixers still a heavy favorite to win the series. The Sixers also a 6.5-point favorite as we speak for that Game 5. And here he is, the one and only Vince Carter gets up with us early this morning. So, Vince, we got ourselves in that series, a best of 3, Philly at home tomorrow night. To you, what is the biggest factor in that series going forward?
Greeny, you talked about it. Joel Embiid, he's been dominant. I mean, dominant in the first three games of this series, as well as the first half of the fourth quarter. And then the second half happened. The knee tightened up, pain, whatever the case may be. He didn't look like Joel Embiid. And to add to that, Tobias Harris, as well as Curry, they go cold. And for this series, I think it's given the Hawks some confidence now. They feel like they can compete. But if Joel Embiid's not healthy or healthy enough to be the dominant player he is, this could be a good series. And this could go to 7, and it could go either way now.
And so we will see. Again, the health of Embiid's knee becomes a major factor. Speaking of injuries, obviously that is the overwhelming concern for the Brooklyn Nets, who entered this postseason as an overwhelming favorite and now face huge problems. No Kyrie tonight, no James Harden. So I guess I'll ask you this question directly. If those guys cannot contribute in this series, can the Nets win?
In the series, it's tough. I mean, you're going to need KD to average 40, 45 a game. And I say that because he's going to have to score a lot. But they're going to need help from Blake Griffin and Joe Harris to play out of their mind and just big-time basketball. Because right now, I mean, we're seeing how physical PJ Tucker and the Bucks are with KD. So the game plan, if there's no Kyrie, if there's no Harden, they're just going to hit him and try to wear him down, get him frustrated, and get him out of his game. And now put the onus on the others who's left for the Nets to win the series. So I think the important factor is if there's no Kyrie, but that other guy, James Harden, runs this show, and he makes the game easier for the Nets and the others. So they need James Harden back for sure.
Well, you've been a star player in this league, so you understand the mentality and the responsibility that those guys feel. How would you imagine, how much pressure would you imagine a guy like Harden is feeling to get back out there, especially when he sees Kyrie get hurt?
Especially with the social media era to add to that. It's a lot of pressure. And, I know he wants to get out there. There are the reports that he tried to work out to see where he was, and he's not quite there. And you don't want to get in a situation, Greeny, like the Lakers did with AD. You understand why AD tried to play. He wanted to do for his team and keep his team alive. But if Harden comes back too early and he's not ready and he goes down for sure the rest of the series, if not the playoffs, the Nets will not have a chance at all.
Yeah, AD came back in an elimination game. This is not that tonight for the Nets. You are coming back a little later in this hour. Vince Carter, stay close. Thank you very much.
How can Kevin Durant lead this team to a win Game 5?
Kevin Durant's going to have to score 40 plus for them to have a chance. They're going to need Kevin Durant to be the superstar that we know him to be. But he's going to need his supporting cast. He's going to need a huge game from Blake Griffin. He's going to need a huge shooting night from Joe Harris, playing out of his mind, as well as some others. He's going to need guys to step up and have big nights that playing really outside of what we've seen to give him a chance, because the Bucks have been extremely physical with KD in these first couple of games. So look for some guys to have to get started early to ease the pressure for KD.
Yeah, the time is now. Now the Nets are currently 4.5-point home underdogs in this one. Vince, as always, thank you so much for the insight and hanging out with us here on SportsCenter. He missed all of his 12 shots from the floor in the second half. That's the most attempts without a make in a playoff half over the last 25 seasons. Tomorrow, the series shifts back to Philly for Game 5. Staying with the injury report, Brooklyn will not have Kyrie Irving and James Harden for Game 5 tonight against the Bucks. An MRI confirmed Irving sprained his ankle in Game 4. Head coach Steve Nash admitted he has no idea if Kyrie will even be able to return to the series that is tied at 2 games apiece.
That's just the mentality we had. They took care of business at home, and we got to go out there and try and take the next one.
Oh, wow.
Breath of fresh air for this Clipper squad.
The Clippers, following a familiar script, spot the other team the first 2 games and then rally. It worked in the Mavs series. Now they've evened things up with the Jazz after losing the first 2 in Salt Lake. Here's Ramona Shelburne on last night's Game 4.
Kawhi Leonard rarely shows you what he's thinking, but those that know him best are sensing a change going on the deeper the Clippers advance in these playoffs.
It's written all over